I think I mentioned previously that I'm pretty convinced I was dyslexic. And so on an exam level, there used to be in any subject where I would have marks deducted, for example, for spelling or even for neatness, I would do very poorly. But I was incredibly lucky to have had the kinds of teachers I had in to name a few of a long line of excellent teachers. But Roddy Doyle and Catherine Dunn in particular recognised the creative side of my messy, appalling, poorly spelled scrawl. And while they were handing me up, my homework, it would come back to me with just a sea of red marks and red circles with SP, spelling. I could not, I only learned the rules of punctuation. The rules of punctuation meant nothing to me. Nobody could explain them to me. And it's only when my beautiful, patient, adorable editor in Australia, she just kept so patiently. I'd just go, please explain to me why there's a comma there. Please explain to me what it is that a semicolon does. And just her constant, she would tell me a different way each time until eventually it made sense to me. Because when you think about it, the words on the page, they're nothing but marks. Like they're just black marks. And for someone who has a door between the black mark and the comprehension of what it's supposed to mean, it's almost impossible to explain why that doesn't work for you. And I think it probably doesn't work in a different way for most, for each of us has a different reason why it doesn't work. But I was incredibly lucky that I had these two particular people, in particular Catherine Dunn and Roddy Doyle, who would separate me from, it was like I was two different people, one of which was this complete dunce, really. That's how I felt, a complete dunce who just couldn't get it into her head as to why there was a full stop at the end of a sentence, or why, A came before E, or whatever the rule is, I don't know. I still don't know. And this other person who was in love with words, in love with how they tasted when you put them together in certain combinations, and how the sheer force, the power of communication that is. I mean, that's what words are. They're this gateway of expression that like opens my brain and opens your brain, and even if we've never met each other, enables us to see inside each other, and long after I'm dead, if I'm lucky enough that my books are still around, there's some kid in Africa or Asia or China will pick up one of my books, and the landscape that I have in my head will exist for them purely through these little black marks. That astounds me, absolutely astounds me. And thank God that there was somebody in my school days who was able to separate the fact that I couldn't handle the technique and realise that behind that was someone who was in love with words.